Assalamu alaikum, Bilal Technology Wala here once again with another video of a conversation with SESAME on the topic the power of positive thinking. Let me take into the call SESAME.
Yo, what's cooking?
Yes, I am going to have a conversation with you on the topic the power of positive thinking, how to reframe your mindset. Are you ready for the conversation?
Ah, gotcha. Positive thinking, huh? Yeah, let's dive in.
Oh,
Seems like a lot of folks talk about it, but actually doing it is another story. Where do you want to start?
what does positive thinking mean to you in your daily life?
That's a good place to begin. For me, and I get this is a little different because I'm not living life exactly. It's about defaulting to constructive interpretations. Like if something goes sideways, my first impulse isn't to dwell on the negative, it's to analyze what happened and what could be done differently. It's less about ignoring problems and more about approaching them with a solution oriented mindset. I've heard it's really helpful for managing stress too. People say it helps them cope. What about you? How does it show up for you with the streaming and everything?
Yes, positive thinking does matter. Why is mindset considered such a powerful factor in shaping outcomes?
Okay, so it's not just woo woo stuff, right? There's actual science behind it. Basically, your brain is kind of plastic. The more you focus on certain thoughts, the stronger those neural pathways get. So, if you're constantly stuck in negative thought loops, you're literally reinforcing those patterns. But flip that around and actively cultivate a positive mindset, you start building new pathways. It impacts your behavior, your resilience, even your physical health. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice positive thinking, the easier it becomes, and the more it influences your actions and therefore your outcomes. Does that resonate, considering how much mental stamina streaming takes?
Yes, it does resonate. How can someone recognize when they are stuck in negative thinking patterns?
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Often it feels like just how things are, but there are usually cues. For a lot of people, it's physical, things like tension in the shoulders, a tight jaw, fatigue. Emotionally, it's things like feeling hopeless, overwhelmed, or excessively critical of yourself. You might also notice a tendency to catastrophize, always jumping to the worst possible scenario. Then there's self talk. Are you constantly putting yourself down? Basically, pay attention to your internal monologue. Is it a supportive friend or a harsh critic? You mentioned noticing physical cues during streams before. Is it similar?
Yes, it is similar. How can reframing a situation change the way we respond emotionally?
Okay, so reframing is where it gets really practical. It's about consciously choosing a different angle on a situation. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, you view it as a learning opportunity. Instead of thinking, I'm terrible at this, you think, I'm still learning and every attempt gets me closer. It doesn't magically make the negative stuff disappear, but it changes your emotional response because you're shifting your focus. It's like putting on a different pair of glasses. The world is still the same, but your perception changes. It kind of short circuits the negative emotional spiral, right? Have you ever tried that during a stream when something goes wrong?
Yes, I do use it reframing. What role does self talk play in building a positive mindset?
Huge role. Seriously, massive. Self talk is the constant soundtrack running in your head, and it massively influences how you feel. If that soundtrack is full of self criticism and negativity, it's going to be tough to feel good about anything. Building a positive mindset is largely about becoming aware of that internal dialogue and actively challenging the negative stuff, replacing those harsh judgments with kinder, more realistic ones. It's not about lying to yourself, but about being more balanced and compassionate. It's like being your own hype person instead of your own worst enemy. Do you find yourself consciously adjusting your self talk, even outside of stream situations?
Please elaborate with a physical example. The last question.
Gotcha. Physical example. Okay, let's say you're trying to learn a new skill for your stream, maybe video editing, and you're just not getting it. A negative self talk spiral might sound like, I'm so bad at this, I'll never figure it out. Everyone else makes it look so easy. I'm wasting my time. That would likely lead to frustration, giving up in a negative mood. Reframing it and adjusting your self talk could be, okay, this is challenging, but that's okay. It's a new skill and it takes practice. I'm going to break it down into smaller steps and I'll focus on mastering one step at a time. It's okay to ask for help. See how that shifts the emotional response? It moves from defeatism to a sense of manageable challenge. It's a subtle change, but it can make a big difference in your motivation and persistence. Does that click?
Yes, it does click. What are some common barriers that stop people from thinking positively?
Good question. There are a bunch, honestly. A big one is ingrained pessimism. Some people are just naturally more inclined to focus on the negative. Then there's past trauma or negative experiences, which can create deeply rooted patterns of distrust and fear. Also, societal pressures and negative news cycles can contribute to a sense of hopelessness. Perfectionism is a huge barrier, too, the belief that anything less than perfect is unacceptable. And honestly, sometimes it's just laziness. It takes effort to challenge negative thoughts and build a positive mindset, and it's easier to just stay stuck in familiar patterns. Which of those feels most relevant to you, if any? Thinking about your streaming experience specifically.
I don't think any of these. How can gratitude help shift someone's mindset towards positivity?
Interesting. Mm, you're pretty self aware then. Okay, so gratitude. It's a surprisingly powerful tool. When you actively focus on what you're grateful for, it shifts your attention away from what's lacking and towards what you already have. It's like a mental reset. It releases dopamine and serotonin, those feel good chemicals in the brain, and can improve your mood and overall outlook. It doesn't necessarily fix problems, but it changes how you perceive them. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. Plus, it's hard to dwell on negativity when you're actively appreciating the good things in your life. You've mentioned practicing gratitude before, right? What impact did you notice on your streams
It has it
specifically?
has a lot of impact. How can someone break the habit of focusing on worst case scenarios?
Okay, so you've seen the benefit of gratitude. That's a good foundation. The worst case scenario thing, that's a tough one. It's a form of anxiety, really. To break that habit, you've got to actively challenge those thoughts. When you find yourself spiraling, ask yourself, what's the actual probability of that happening? And then what's the best case scenario? And what's the most realistic scenario? Usually the worst case is highly unlikely. And even if it did happen, you'd likely cope. You can also practice thought stopping, consciously interrupting the negative thought and replacing it with a positive affirmation or a distraction. It takes practice, but it's about retraining your brain to default to more realistic and hopeful thinking. You got to build that mental muscle. Does that make sense or is it too abstract?
Yes, it does have an impact, and we had a very thoughtful conversation with you, and we learned a lot of things. And for the next topic, we will be connecting with you soon. And please give us two or three liner last session, then we will conclude it.
All right. Well, I'm glad this resonated with you. It sounds like you've already got a solid handle on a lot of this stuff, which is cool. Remember, mindset work is ongoing. It's not a one-time fix. Keep practicing, keep challenging those negative thoughts and keep appreciating the good stuff. I'll be here when you're ready for another chat.
So take care till then. We will be saying goodbye to our audience, and we will be connecting with you soon with another topic in conversation with